Alright, so we're going to be talking about 1 and 2 step equations today. So we're going to start with some 1-step equations. So big thing to remember when we're solving equations is we need to do the inverse. Inverse means the opposite operation. Operations are like adding, subtracting, multiply, and divide. So you need to do the opposite of what is being done to the variable. So whatever letter's there, like X or Y or K, whatever letter it is, do the opposite of what's happening to the letter, right? So we're gonna look at some examples here. So first we've got X minus 5 equals 10. So if we look at the X, we think, all right, what's happening to the X? X is being minus 5. So opposite of minus is to plus. So we're going to plus 5 to both sides of the equation. So you draw a line down where that equal sign is. We want to plus 5 to both sides. When I do a negative 5 added to a 5, plus and minus would cancel it out. That means X is the only thing left on this side, equals, and then 10 plus 5 is 15. So for number 1, we've got X equals 15. In number 2, we've got 3 plus X equals 12. When we're doing this, we look at the 3. Now, when it's backwards, like over here the X was first. If it's backwards, you want to flip it around first. So really, this is X. This is a positive 3 plus 3. If it said negative 3 plus X, if I switch that around, this negative 3 would look like this. So I'd have X minus 3 instead of X plus 3. So just be careful. Whatever's in front of this 3 needs to go with it over here. So when you switch it, that sign goes with it. So here we've got X plus 3 equals 12. We've got a plus 3. Opposite of plus is to minus. And then do it on the other side of the line. X equals 12 minus 3 is 9. So X equals 9. Right. In number 3, it looks like a fraction. Remember, a fraction is like dividing. Opposite of dividing is to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 4 on this side, and I'm going to multiply 4 on this side. Just a note, I'm using this dot instead of the multiply symbol, just because the multiply symbol is an X, and we don't want to confuse our X with a multiply symbol, so we use a dot instead. So from now on, I'll be using dots for multiply. So anyway, so the 4's go there. I've got X equals 2 times 4 is 8. X equals 8. Number 4 here, I've got this 3x. When we write them next to each other, it would be the same as this. These are the same things. Or this. These are all saying that 3 is multiplying with this x here. The opposite of multiplying a 3 would be to divide a 3. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. X will equal 9 over 3 is 3. So X equals 3. So that's our 1 step. So when you're down to 1 step, there's 4 options. You can add, you can subtract, you can multiply, you can divide. When we go to 2 step, it means you're going to do 2 of these. So you're going to add and multiply, or add and divide. You'll have an add or a subtract, then you'll have a multiply or a divide. So for 2 steps, you always add or subtract first. So first you're like, okay, should I add something or should I subtract something? After you do that, you'll look at it again and say, all right, now will I multiply or will I divide? Right? So first add or subtract, then multiply or divide. Right? So if you look at all these equations, on this side where the x is, there's 2 numbers. Right? So that's how you know which one to do first. You always do the add or subtract first, the multiply or divide second. So in number 1 here, when we're looking, here's my x. Since it's minus 5, I do that first. So I'm going to do plus 5 is the opposite, right? I like to draw a line to divide my problem. So there goes that. 2x comes down, equal sign. 15 plus 5 is 20. So now I have 2x equals 20. Now I'm going to say, all right, should I multiply or divide the 2? Since it's multiplying now, I need to do the opposite. So I'm going to divide it. X equals 10. There you go. In number 2, so we think, all right, should I add or subtract? So if we look here, I've got this. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Right? So x over 2 comes down. Negative 9 plus 3 is negative 6. Now I'm going to evaluate this. So I've got a 2. Since it's dividing, the opposite is to multiply. So multiply by 2. X equals negative 18. There you go. In number 4, we've got 4 minus 2x equals 8. So remember, if the letter doesn't come first, we're going to just switch them around real quick. This goes with it. Negative 2, positive 4. Okay, so now we're keep going. So for my add or subtract, I see here is plus 4, so I'm going to minus 4. Negative 2x will equal 4. I've got negative 2 times x, so opposite is to divide. And then x will equal negative 2. And for our last one, so this one I made a little different. I put all the x's over here. It doesn't matter. So if we look here, we've got 4. So I'm going to do my switching. X over 3 plus 4. They're the same thing. Bring that down. Okay, so I rewrote it so the x is first. So this time, got plus 4, so minus 4 would be our first step. 16 minus 4 is 12. When I have x over 3, my opposite is to multiply by 3. 12 times 3 is 36, and x. It doesn't matter if it's 36 equals x like that. It's the same thing as x equals 36. Doesn't matter what order they're in. It's the same thing. Don't worry about that. So that is 1 and 2 step equations.